In this video, we're going to make a miniature gingerbread house. Start by warming up your clay and then mold it into a house shape. Don't worry about it being perfect because we're going to clean up the edges later. If you have any cracks or ridges or lines, you can just use your finger to smooth them out like that. And once you're completely satisfied with the shape, you can take your blade and start to make all of the sides really clean and sharp. I'm not trimming a lot off of each side, but I am trimming enough off so that there's a clean edge. So after I trimmed off all the edges, I thought I wanted to make it a little bit wider, so I pressed it down and kind of widened it out just like that with my fingers. Now after you make your house, you want to make your chimney if you'd like to add one. So I'm going to roll out a little piece of brown clay and cut it into a long rectangle. I'm going to make one side that is flat, the top, and the other side that's angled is going to attach to the house. So now that we have our chimney in place, we're going to make the top of our roof. So we're going to roll out some more brown clay, cut off the edges, and trim it down to the size of the roof. I'm just checking it now, and I'm going to trim it down because it's a little bit too wide. And then once I have it to the perfect size, I'm going to trim a little square, or actually a rectangle, and put that on one side, and then the other side I'm going to make a rectangle, but I'm going to cut out a spot for the chimney. So here is the front of the roof, and to make the back again we're going to do the same thing, but we're going to also remember to cut out a little spot so our chimney can sit all snugly inside there. Now that the roof is in place, I'm going to use a toothpick to smooth the seams of the roof and kind of press them together. Now I'm just going to take some sandpaper to also give some texture to the outside of the house and make it actually look like a cookie. Now that our house is together and textured, we can make a cute little door. So I'm going to take some white clay and roll it out and cut out a little rectangle that will be our door. Okay, so now we got a door, we definitely need windows. And we're going to take some cream or cookie or dough colored clay and make a lot of squares that are relatively the same size. And then we're going to cut them out and use a toothpick to give them indentations like a cookie or a cracker. And then we're going to use some yellow ochre chalk powder or pigment powder to give the cookies some color like they've been baked. Oh, and don't forget the sandpaper, that will give the cookies some texture. And this is the yellow ochre pigment powder. Yellow ochre is like more of a rich yellow. It is a little bit darker and deeper, and it's not as bright as a traditional yellow. So here I'm going to just place the first little cookie window, and I'm going to do the same exact thing all around the house. On the back of the house, since there's no door obviously and it's a larger side, you can make the windows a little bit larger, and that will just help to fill in that space. After I placed the cookies on the house, I used the toothpick again to press in those indentations and also to secure the cookies to the house. It really helps to press them into the clay. And here are these huge big windows in the back that are just larger cookies, and I'm going to press those in the same exact way. Now I'm going to add some cookies to the chimney as well. This just helps to give, and I just got a text, it helps to give the chimney a little bit of interest, and it looks really cute in my opinion to just add the cookies around it. So I'm just cutting out cookie shapes that fit each side of the roof, and I'm adding those indents and of course the chalk for the color and some sandpaper for texture. And now that the chimney's done, I added a little pink doorknob. You can choose whatever color you like. So now we're going to make some fake or faux icing. So I'm going to take the bigger jar of the actual icing that is clear. It's not real icing. Please don't eat it. And I'm going to take the paint and mix it into the faux icing with a popsicle stick. Once your icing is all mixed up, put the top back on it and put it to the side. We're going to go back to it later. So to make some little wreaths for either side of the house, I'm going to take some green clay and make a tiny little donut kind of circle, and then I'm going to use a toothpick to give it texture, like there's leaves all around the wreath. And here's that toothpick coming in to give a lot of texture. You just want to press it in and kind of pull the clay apart a little bit. Now I'm just going to take some red clay to make some little bows or ribbons to go on the wreath. And the top of the bow is basically a little strip with either side or both sides folded in, and then a little strip on top of it to look like the tie, and then the little strips at the bottom will go underneath, and it'll make more sense if you just watch it. And ta-da! Here's a little ribbon or bow, and I'm going to put it on one of the wreaths, and then I'm going to place that, of course, onto either side of the house. Now I'm just going to repeat that same process and make another wreath, this one for the other side, yay, and press it in, and then we can go on to making some little greenery for the top of the door. So I'm just making some little faux leaves, pressing those together, and making some little berries, and it kind of looks like mistletoe maybe, I don't know. But it just looks cute to me, and I'm going to add it to the top of the door, and then after that we're going to add some more greenery to the bottom of the windows. I'm mixing in a little bit of yellow clay with this green clay to make it brighter and to let the windows stand out a little bit from the wreath and the greenery or the mistletoe that's on top of the door. So now that you have these little strips of green clay, you just want to press them under the window, all of the windows, and then give it texture with your toothpick, and it'll look kind of like a little hedge that's right under the window, or a little garden. It's so cute, and it just adds a little bit of color to it. And I'm just going to repeat this process on each window all the way around the house. And to stabilize the house itself and to give it like more of a foundation, I'm going to add some greenery all around, or like little bushes all around the bottom of the house as well. And then I'm going to do the same thing with my toothpick to give it some texture. Carols being sung by a choir, and Yuletide carols being sung by a choir, and by a choir. I'm going to make some little candy canes to go on either side of the door. And to do that, I'm just going to take a little piece of white clay and two even smaller pieces of red clay and roll those together and kind of twist so it looks like a candy cane, and then place them on either side or both sides of the door. Now that the house is finished, we're going to bake it. I baked this one for 20 minutes at 275 degrees Fahrenheit. I'm using a smaller oven. If you're using a larger home oven, you may want to turn the temperature down so your clay doesn't darken. After your clay has come out of the oven and it's cooled down, it's time to open up that icing and start icing the roof. I started with the perimeter and then I filled in the entire roof. Once you've filled in the roof to your liking, you can take the tip of your toothpick and pull down some little icicles all around the roof, and it'll just give it a nice cute little frozen look. I also added some icing or frosting to the top of the chimney. I made some little sprinkles, baked them, and then put them on top and just press them into the icing, and be sure you press them in deep so that they stay. If you press them in really deep, they will stay. If you don't, they will pop out eventually once the frosting dries. And now I'm just filling in the front of the roof. And I'm making more icicles all around. If you want to decorate the roof even more, you can use the rest of the leftover candy cane or make more sprinkles. It's all up to you. I also decided to add more frosting to the top of the windows and kind of drag it down a little bit, like it was melting or like it was like icicles had formed. And when all of the frosting is dry, this is what the house looks like. And it didn't take long at all for the frosting to dry. And it's very cute, and I hope you loved it.